welcome to another video, and it's Sim Racing Weekly News Roundup time. And we're going to start off with basically a arcade title, but this is a throwback to people's childhood, so it's an important one, in my view anyway. And that's Hotwheels Unleashed. Now, we've got some more info and a gameplay trailer for Hot Wheels Unleashed. I'll link to the info and the trailer down below. But basically, we're going to get 40 tracks on day one, 6 different environments they're set in, a load of cars, and most importantly, a track editor that'll allow you to build your own Hot Wheels tracks that you can then basically put the 60 cars in the game through. It's coming out on September the 30th, and it's coming to basically all the major platforms, so PS4 and 5, all of the Xbox versions, I lose track of what they are, the Nintendo Switch and the PC, so I must confess, I'm looking forward to that one because I think it will just be fun, being perfectly honest. So it could well be interesting. We've then had a couple of updates drop for Assetto Corsa Competizione. So the first one was a hotfix that focused on UI changes to the MFD dash display widget and played around with some of the physics side of things. And that was then followed up by another hotfix, which basically just tweaked all of that stuff again. So, not quite sure why we got 2 versions of that, but there we go. Maybe they didn't get everything first time around, but not going to argue with that. Then, moving on, it is Nacon's, or Nacon, I don't know how you pronounce that, but take your pick there. It's Nacon's Racing Week, and this started on April the 12th and is basically a week of announcements around a range of their titles. Now, the first one that we've got, and we've got a couple of these so far, is around WRC9, and that's a nice easy one. It's quite simply that WRC9 is finally coming to Steam on September the 16th. So if you really dislike the Epic Store and have not purchased it because of that, it is coming to Steam in September. They've also released some information on WRC10, and I'll come on to that in a moment, which means what we've got left in this week is some info on Rims Racing, which is their upcoming motorbike title, and Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, which is one I know a lot of people have been waiting for, so it's going to be interesting to see what we have come out on those two. Sod's Law will be that an info on one of the two will come out around about 30 nanoseconds after I post this video, so there we go. So I'll be a week late on one of those at least, but hey ho, what can we do about that? Then moving on to WRC10. Now, I have done a separate video on WRC10 because we had a load of info came out on this and a nice trailer with some footage on there, and basically we've got the obvious one that it's going to be around the 2021 season, but it weirdly is also celebrating the 2022 season, which is the 50th anniversary of the WRC in its modern format. Gets complicated because there was a World Rally Championship before 73, which was called the International Championship for Manufacturers, but that then changed in 73 to become the WRC as we know it now. But that's not the important bit. The important bit is we are, by the looks of things, going to be basically getting 2 games in one here, because there's going to be an entire historic championship thrown in here with 19 events across 6 rallies from the WRC's past with 20 legendary cars. So some seriously good fun in there. The career modes also had an overhaul in that we're going to be getting the ability to create our own team and run it through the 4 WRC categories in there, tweaks to the physics, all of the new stages, etc, etc. So I'll leave a link to the news down there, and also to the video where I go through and look at the announcement trailer and talk about what appears to be coming off the back of that. We've also had news of F1 2021 coming out, which is arriving July the 16th for PlayStation, Xbox and PC, so the usual crowd. And this is the first title under Codemasters EA ownership, and as we'd expect, it gives us everything from the 2021 circuits, all of the new tracks. There will be some of them weirdly arriving as post-launch DLC. Not quite sure why, but there we go. All of the new teams, etc. Now, there's a couple of things which are interesting. My team will return. There will be split screen, esports, F2 integration, all of the usual stuff. There'll be a new 2-player mode in the game's career, which will allow, it says, players to join each other's campaigns and race alongside each other as teammates or rivals with their own choice of aids or assists. I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be interesting to see. And there is a new story mode called Breaking Point, spelled break as in B-R-A-K-I-N-G, Breaking Point. It's a crap joke, let's be perfectly honest, or it's a crap play on words, but there we go. They have described this as Breaking Point as an exciting innovation that has been years in the making. We are proud to expand the game experience and allow players to live the highs and lows of life in Formula One, both on and off track. Breaking Point transforms the game and puts players centre stage in the greatest racing spectacle on the planet. Now, they did drop a trailer with this, but quite frankly, it is just pure fluff. It's a load of dramatic stuff around the Breaking Point side of things. It shows absolutely zero gameplay footage, whether replay or in-car gameplay, and quite frankly, it's barely a trailer in my view, but there we go. We then have a minor update, and this is the final bit of news, a minor update for BeamNG. So that's now on version 0.22.2, and this just fixes a few little things with issues around the vehicles, some changes to the walking mode they introduced recently, the world editor, and so on. There is a big list of full changes on it, but it's a lot of small improvements which I'm not going to run through here. So that's this week's update. What are you playing, or potentially going to be playing, and what have you been watching while I've been talking through this? Well, the car in question is a Porsche 912R, or rather it's based on a Resto mod version of it. So 1600 flat 4 motor, 911 inspired bodywork, a few other bits and pieces. For those of you who don't know, the 912R, which originally came out 2 times, late 60s and early 70s, mid 70s, so late 60s and mid 70s, was basically Porsche's cheaper 911 that existed for a while as a kind of introductory model with smaller engines in it, and a lot of people took these, stripped them out and raced them for fairly obvious reasons, and you've got a nice version of that here. It's a fun car to drive. It's not incredibly powerful because it's only got a 1600cc flat 4 in it, but it weighs very little. And this is effectively a stripped down Resto mod racing version of it based on a car created apparently in the 2000s. It works extremely well. It's good fun to drive. It's nice and throttle drivable and controllable in that regard. And this one's interesting because for an April Fool's joke, the creator also produced a completely absurd Safari version of it, which makes no sense whatsoever, but is included for free and looks like this. There you go. I told you it was silly. What more can I do? Now, the track you've been watching, apart from the silly one there, is basically a track called Circuito de Albacete, which is in Albacete in Spain. Opened in 1990. It's actually primarily a bike racing track. It's been used for the Endurance World Championship and the Superbike World Championship in the past. It's also seen some rounds of the FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Not well known for four wheels, in other words, but it's actually a good fun little circuit. It's not massively long, it's about 3.5k. It's got a lot of twists and turns and some good corners on it. And it really does suit lower powered cars such as this 912R. It's well worth a look. Main reason I put it up here is this was picked up by some of the GT Planet modders. One of them took it and basically found it in the wild and turned it into a more complete version, and one of the other mod team then basically added cams, improvements for it, rain FX, etc. So I'll post a link to both the original track in that you can find over at GT Planet, as well as the upgrade stuff that's been put in place for it. Okay, so that's this week's sim racing news. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you have, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when future content gets uploaded. Thanks very much. Take care.